Nope.
I was online.
How we doing, guys? We're Wicked Chaos. We're going to do our podcast this evening. We talk about shows, TV, movies, a little bit of everything. I'm a big Jack Daniels fan.
I've been drinking Tell 'em We're Due tonight. Been drinking it for a little bit now. We actually just got done with the 7th episode of The Boys. Highly recommend the show.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't watched it, yeah.
We're going to be touching on that a little bit tonight here.
Warning, we are not editing our speech. We're not editing video. What we talk about, not very completely PC, as you can see from our disclaimer. So, do you want to get into first season or second season?
All right, so
mind you, this is our first live podcast, so might bear with us while we work out the kinks and stuff.
We'd like to try to provide a service for some people about shows to watch when they're kind of in a show hole. So we're going to be touching on a lot of different shows that might be on Netflix, might be on Hulu, might be on Amazon. They're going to jump around a lot because we're not really sticking to any kind of criteria. We're just trying to help people understand what's out there to watch. And not everybody has time to devote into getting into a new show. Not everybody has, hours to dedicate to hopefully making a show work for them, or hopefully being able to find a show that they can really enjoy.
Now, I watch pretty much anything. I'm a father, so I've watched everything and anything as much as I can. I have all the streaming sites and all that stuff. So I try to watch a little bit of everything. So we'll be talking about, could be kid stuff, could be talking about regular movies. But tonight we pretty much figured we'd start talking about The Boys, just because it's something that we're really, really into and that we strongly suggest. It is not for the faint of heart. I'm a big superhero person. If you are into superheroes and stuff like that, it's a funny take on superheroes. Basically, you'd say that superheroes are assholes.
Yep. Oh, for sure. So if you ever thought about a world where superheroes really existed, this captures it, because not only, with great power comes great responsibility, the great saying. This show kind of takes it to a whole new level where it kind of goes to your head. If anybody's ever read the Reckoners series, Braveheart, or Steelheart, sorry, not Braveheart, Steelheart. Very sorry about that. It's very similar, where it's almost like the more a person uses their power or ability, the more drunk on that power they get. These people are just addicted to using their abilities. It seems.
From what we've seen so far, and most superheroes in the show, heroes, I use that term loosely for this show.
Very loosely.
They're sponsored by like products and companies and corporations and
good old corporate America coming through again.
Right. Now, that being said, that has its pluses for them, and it has they have to be more flexible with, like, they'll be talking and they'll be like, "Hey, you want a Fresca?" Like, like
the Fresca plug was hilarious.
But
I've done it a couple times.
But it plays on stuff that's hitting home, especially right now in the world. This season is, and it's very funny.
Yeah.
I don't know whose humor or not humor that they have into this kind of stuff, but the way they do things, it just...
So we might as well jump into a little bit of the overview of what the show is and whatnot. For season 1, for those of you who have not seen the show, we're not going to try and give anything away. We're not going to talk about the current things that are happening in the second season right now. But we do want to try and help anybody who has questions about or is thinking about getting into The Boys that doesn't have hours to put into, hopefully, the show being what they want. So
it's got Carl Urban plays Billy Butcher. Yep. Anthony Starr plays Homelander. You'll know Carl Urban from like Dread. He was in Pathfinder. He's been in a couple other things too. Anthony Starr, It's escaping me what he's been in. You got Jack Quaid. He plays Huey. You have Laz Alonso. He plays MM, which is Mother's Milk. You have the girl that plays, her last name's Moriarty, plays Starlight, or Annie. Aaron. And you got Karen Fukuhara and Chance Crawford. Mind you, I'm sorry if I'm screwing these names up. Chance Crawford plays the Deep, which is their Aquaman. Yeah. Anthony Starr is their Superman. But you have Jesse Usher. He plays A-Train. You've got Tomer Capon as Frenchie. Mind you, I'm sorry if I'm butchering people's names. It's not my intent. But it's basis around Huey. Season 1 basis around Huey, that he's trying to get back at the superheroes because A-Train.
Corporations, really.
Yeah. Vought is the name of the company.
Yep.
A-Train basically kills his girlfriend.
Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry, spoiler. I kind of spoiled that for you guys, but I'm just trying to give you a backstory.
Happens in the first episode.
So. First 30 seconds of the first episode.
So if you have kids and whatnot, this is definitely not a show for them. There's very gruesome graphic detail. I'm sure they've listed that in the very beginning of the show. I'm not sure on their.
They have their rating in the beginning of the episode,
but it is very graphic. It is not for the faint of heart. People do die.
If you don't like gore, there's a lot of gore. There's nudity, not as much in season 1. But I feel like they've included it in like every episode of season 2. Yeah. But
the story unfolds with
Huey's getting back at the superheroes.
Right. So he's trying to bring down this corporation that is pretty much employing all these superheroes and is trying to push the agenda of superheroes being more mainstream and being more popular. And that takes a whole roller coaster that we don't want to disrupt for you too much. But the basis around the show is that a group of unlikely heroes, for lack of a better term, without superpowers, take on this superpower conglomerate corporation that is just trying to control America. And it's very well done. It's very intuitive, and it's to the point to where you respect it. They give you just enough information to let your mind kind of wander, but then they hit you with the punchlines of exactly what they want you to feel in the moment. So the director of the show has done a very good job. I'm forgetting his name.
Isn't it same guy that did oh my god, I can't think of his name. I want to say it's Kripke.
Well, we would be much better,
but don't quote me on that. Yeah, we'll be much better. We kind of try to fly by ear, but we got to get something on here.
We have been lagging. For those of you who know us, for those of you who know how long we've been trying to do this, getting the timing down, the whole COVID thing, just everything.
Yeah.
Life in general has just been a mess.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, we're trying to do the best I can. Bear with us. We're getting there.
All right. So the show is very well done so far. They're getting across their message. For those of you who actually have time to put into the show, I would recommend.
I would say, if it was me introducing someone to the show, I would say binge season 1.
Yeah.
Binge it, if you can.
Try and catch up to season 2.
No, I would say, at this point, if I was you, I would wait till season 2 is done and then binge it. Because I'm going to watch it every week. But, and I'm sure you might have a different opinion. I'm just trying to get you interested. Because if you can binge season 1 and it's something you find that you like, season 2 has a much bigger spin on it. And if you're like me, like I like how stuff gets completely released and I can binge it all. And a lot of people aren't like that. They'll watch every week. And if the show hooks you, you can watch every week and watch every episode. But if you're getting into it and say you don't even have time to binge it, you have one episode. Like there's 7 episodes of season 2 right now. And I think there's only 3 more of the season. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But the way they're taking this season, it would be much easier to take in what's happening in a binge. Because there's a lot of stuff that happens, and it just the way they do it. What'd you say? Susan Rayner. Susan Rayner is the director. But in most shows, I mean, the directors may change between episodes. I'm not 100% on that, but I want to say Eric Kripke is right there. He developed it for Prime.
Okay.
He also did Supernatural. He's one of the people behind Supernatural as well.
Yeah.
There's, like we said, there's a lot of nudity. So if you've got small children, and it's all random, like there's nothing that leads up to sex scenes, or it just happens, and that's the way the show's set up.
Yeah, so they definitely have mild nudity. Nothing too graphic, but it definitely gets into it.
Yeah.
They've done a fantastic job with the show so far. I have not read or seen anything from
the comic books. Season 1 sticks to the comic books from what I remember pretty well. They leave a lot of stuff out, but that's everything you can think of. Like you can't adapt words to television evenly. Just like there's a lot of books that are much better than the movies, but they do what they can with what they have. And I'm not saying all those book to movie should have been done, but I truly enjoy a lot of them. I'm one of those people that's more content. And I'll still watch it.
For those of you who know the show, who are up to date on the show, we're not going to obviously give any spoilers away. Hopefully.
Sorry.
I shouldn't say obviously anymore. I can't say obviously. So, for those of you who are up on the show, tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Definitely tell us what your opinions are of the show, what you would say to somebody who is going to start watching the show. We're definitely interested. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
For those of us who have never read any of the graphic novels or anything, it's definitely kept us wondering what's going to happen on every episode.
Yeah, there's so many things about this show that will hook you. Like me, anyone that knows me knows my sense of humor is all over the place. I find humor in everything. So, like, I get excited when they do huge plot twists that are explosive in your face. And that being, you'll understand what I'm talking about once you watch this show. Like, they throw information at you like that. And it's like, okay, that is a huge twist. And then it sucks you in to watch the next episode because they'll throw that twist in right at the end of the episode. There's, I don't want to tell you any scenes, but...
Well, I do want to go over very quickly the not the cast, but the vast, the different characters of the show, just so that people who are coming into this, who are listening to us now, even though we've been rambling for a while now, who these characters are, so that they'll know if they're kind of interested. Because some people get turned off very easily by certain character styles and brands, if you will. So we have Homelander, who is kind of like your generic Superman. I'm just going to leave it at that. He's a very generic Superman.
Only extremely arrogant.
Yes. Most of the superheroes in this show are extremely arrogant. Let's just get that out of the way. But I should kind of want to give you a list of like their powers / abilities to a small extent, so you know what you're kind of walking into here. So Vought, VOUGHT, Vought is the name of this company that is like the corporation of this entity of collective superhuman.
They call them the Seven.
They call them the Seven. So there's the top 7. There's many more that are in other cities around the world. But in America, there are the top
They're called
7.
Yeah.
They are called the 7.
There's Homelander, Black Noir, the Deep,
Queen.
Starlight, Queen Maeve. Now there's Stormfront. Oh, I'm missing one. A-Train. But watching those 7s don't stay the 7. Like they change.
They do fluctuate.
And with that being said, it's like if it's not fitting what they want in PR, they're going to change the character and remove characters, stuff like that. I'm not telling you who.
Right.
I don't want to spoil anything.
So Homelander is your generic Superman. You have the Deep, who is kind of your generic Aquaman, but I don't want to say generic because Aquaman was the king of Atlantis. I'm not going to nerd out on you right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big differences between the Deep and Aquaman, but for the sake of wrapping things up quickly, the Deep is kind of your generic Aquaman. He can talk to fish. He can swim. He's
breathe underwater.
Right. He's got all that stuff.
But he has gills. Aquaman doesn't have gills.
Right.
He has gills right here on his belly. That's all I'm going to tell you. Well, I can't say that, but yeah.
Queen Maeve is almost like your classic Wonder Woman. We've seen her do a lot of Wonder Woman-like stuff. She even dresses very similar. Like I said, once again, not familiar with the graphic novels. You have Black Noir, who is kind of like the team's ninja.
I would go with assassin.
Yeah, that makes sense. He dresses like a ninja assassin.
Yeah, that was the best way to explain it. Yeah.
Black Noir. You don't really see his face ever. So.
And he doesn't talk.
Ninja assassin.
That's not true. He has talked a couple times.
And then you have A-Train, who is the classic speedster. We haven't really seen any So
explain speedster.
So a speedster is somebody who runs unnaturally fastest.
Not just runs; they can move their body really fast.
Compare them to the Flash, right? Every atom in their body. So speedsters can move every part of their body very quickly. That is a huge difference in somebody who just runs fast.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if you can make your legs move that fast without moving the rest of your body that fast. I'll let smarter people.
Yeah, touche.
But A-Train is kind of your classic speedster where he is just very fast. Most of the superhumans, they call them soups in the show.
Yeah.
Most of these soups have superhuman strengths regardless.
Yeah.
They can
tolerate it. I wouldn't. I mean, I see. It's the way they define it in the book. Their bodies can withstand more.
So they're super strong and or durable, if you will. So they're even if they're not like Homelander style of strong, they can still take a beating more than your average person. So all these people are super strong comparatively to normal people.
Then you have Starlight. I don't know how I would describe her. She controls electricity. She can intake it into her body to power because she'll deplete it eventually. But if there's electricity around her, she can take it into her body, absorb it is the word I was looking for, absorb the energy, and then redirect it how she sees fit.
Yeah.
And I can't really, off the top of my head, I can't think of a superhero that would be comparative to that.
I know I'm missing it. It's right there.
I know. That's bugging me too. And then you have...
Translucent.
Yeah, Translucent.
Translucent.
Wasn't that played by Clive Owen?
No.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name.
Okay, don't quote me on that, but
no, it's not him.
But you legitimately never see him, and he's an ass. But it's fun.
But he's translucent. It's right there in the name.
Invisible Man.
Invisible. Once again, super strong, diamond-like skin and whatnot.
Impenetrable skin.
So all these superheroes have their very strong abilities, but they all have
a unique weakness
ability and a unique weakness that makes them very special.
And it could be the stupidest thing. It could be an allergy. It could be sunlight. It could be milk. Could be anything.
So it's very interesting to see where the show is going to go and progress, especially with not seeing any of the graphic novels. Definitely recommend the show. The director is not pulling any punches. It's graphic to an extent. You're not appalled by it, but you're definitely drawn in because there are so often in a show where they lead you up to a big moment, and then it falls short because they either cut away or they do 12-year-old.
Sorry.
No, that's good. So they cut away or something happens like that where they lose you. They lose traction, and the show just does not hold back the punches. Kind of like John said, where you want to binge. I understand where he's coming from on that because the show is just so good. When one episode ends, they do such a good job with you just being like wanting more, wanting to see where they were bringing the episode after that. So it does a very good job with that. But at the same point, someone like me who enjoys the week of wanting to see what happens next, it's a good build up. So I mean, depending on who you are, definitely take it the way you want to.
And don't be a little bitch and get offended. The show is gonna offend everybody. It's gonna offend everybody. If it doesn't offend you at some point, way, shape, or form in the show, then
they're brutal. They're brutal.
Like
they're
don't
not PC.
It's a great show.
It's a great show.
And they do a very good job with the environmental aspect of the show. Like, there's fight scenes in places, and they show you the whole area. It's not like if you see a fight scene in some movies where it's like, oh, they just fight in this one spot. The show incorporates the environment. Like, they'll throw you through a desk or a table, and then it'll move you over to another part of the room, and they'll throw you into a wall and through pillars. Yeah. Like, they demolish a lot of the sets that they build.
Yeah. and you can tell, like, obviously there's CGI, but there's a lot of unique ways that they manipulate the environment, and they manipulate their powers in a way that is not just so in your face of how somebody would use that power. So it's very tantalizing is the word I was looking for. For how unique that they can make such simple abilities. So it's not exactly like, for those of you who remember Heroes.
Oh, I love that show.
Wonderful show. Not to take anything away from that show.
Watch that show too.
But those heroes in that show were very specifically oriented in that one ability or power, and they were kind of very one-dimensional with it. Not trying to take away too much, like I said, from Heroes. They did a wonderful job with that show. But given more time in the CGI and just the world today, they could have made them more.
If they had the technology then what we have now.
Boys is doing a very good job with that. Right. In morphing that and molding it into something better, something bigger, showing you not just one side of speed or invisibility. It's multifaceted, and they're really bringing more to the audience to let your mind wander, which is, to me, it's great because it's not. You're not going to figure everything out while you're watching.
And using this as a point of, like, my mind, anyone that'll understand me, my mind's going constantly. I'm a little cuckoo, but this show it grips you in a way that I can't even explain because of my sense of humor, my mentality. Like, this show will grab you and have you being like, oh, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. And the way that the directors and the producers of the show have the show flowing, it's, how do I put it? I can't explain it. It's addicting, if you will. I mean, I can't, for lack of a better word, I guess. But they just draw you into every episode, and it's great. I'm not going to tell you too much about the episode, but there's an episode in season 1 where they do, it's a torture scene, I guess you could say, but it's someone that they know nothing about. And when they're torturing him, they're learning about this person as well. So, like, they're informing you with the information about this character at the same time of trying to destroy this character. So you're learning with them. It's hard, you know what I'm trying to explain?
No, that's what you're saying.
And you may not understand me. I make sense in my own brain how I'm trying to put it, but I can't express myself.
It's a creative aspect where the director is showing you a side of this intellectual process that's happening between these two groups of people, one anti, one supportive, and it's a growth between the characters. But at the same time, like I said, they're trying to destroy the character. So it's
this is the best way of explaining it. They have you feeling for the main characters,
even though they're
assholes,
POSs. You feel for them.
You feel for all the characters, which is weird. Even though you know they're assholes and they're dicks and they should die, you feel for this character and understand where they're coming from. And they do a great job with giving you enough backstory for each character that just lures you into feeling for them. And you'll understand what I'm talking about once you meet Homelander and Billy Butcher. Like, those two characters in the show, I can't say without ruining giving you spoilers.
I think we're going to have to wrap it up here pretty soon without spoiling anything.
But we're not going to wrap yet. But what I'm trying to explain is, like, one's the guy that you're going to be following a lot, and you're going to learn so much about this person that you're going to, like, your heart's going to feel for this person. And then this one person you're going to feel for that you love to hate. And that chemistry between those two characters just sucks you in. And then a lot of shows now, they do love stories. Yeah. But they blow them up into your face. They push them into you. This one, I think, if you can disagree with me if you want, but I feel like they did it more fluid with this show.
Well, I don't think there's really necessarily a love story in this. There's attractions and there's definitely chemistry in the show, but they're not forcing any narrative. They're not putting anyone's relationships or anything down your throat, really. It's very separative from the narrative at the same time while being entwined. I know that sounds weird, but you'll know when you see it. No, I think they're doing a very good job of keeping the love lives and the sex lives, if you will, separate from the main story, which is kind of difficult in today's world because everybody kind of likes to throw the narrative in your face of whatever sexual orientation. They like to kind of just throw that in there. So it's real subtle, which is a nice change up.
And they actually, I'm not going to spoil anything, but they kind of throw that in your face in season 2 about how the world throws sexuality at you. But
it's like a play on it. They're not really doing it to throw it in your face. It's almost like them making fun of how it is today.
Right.
So you'll see what I mean.
You'll see it. And I would love to hear what people have to say. And thank you guys for tuning in. For those who have tuned in, like, mind you, bear with us. This is our first
episode. We kind of just jumped right into this because there would have been way too much communication on our opener, what we were going to say, who was going to introduce.
And I kind of just, I kind of threw us on the spot and just started it because I wanted it more. I want it to be more fluid. And please feel free to subscribe.
Feel free to unsubscribe. We're new at this.
Yeah, we're new at this, and hopefully we're going to get better venues. And
this is a beautiful white wall.
It's very, very tantalizing. But this is a learning experience.
Yep.
And that's the only way I can say it. If you don't like it, fuck you. If you like it, awesome. There's going to be more to come, and we have a lot of great comments, great content.
Hopefully.
I want to just touch base on the news a little bit. I mean, that was basically our sum up for the boys. And I'm not talking about, like, political news. I'm talking, like, entertainment news and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen ever.
All we're going to say is go vote.
Period.
That's it.
Just vote.
Go vote.
I don't care who you vote for, but you have no right to bitch if you don't vote.
Entertainment news.
Okay. So I love entertainment. I love movies, TV, music, stuff like that. Well, I was reading a news article today. Some asshole, I don't know who. This shit just pissed me off to no end. With the way the world is right now, we just need to get along. And
should be jumping people.
Yeah. So Rick Moranis, if you don't know who he is Louis Tooley from Ghostbusters, the gatekeeper, I think he was. That he was also the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He's been in a lot of stuff. Was jumped in New York City. If the police are asking for any help, there's video of it. Like Rick Moranis was literally just walking down the street and got punched in the face and beaten up. And then the guy left.
Yeah.
I don't condone violence, but at the same time, I will defend my own. I think that shit's just ridiculous. But again, I wasn't there. I don't know the situation, but from what I can see from the video, he wasn't doing anything. He was just walking.
Let's stop all this nonsense of random acts of violence. We're not going to touch on the political aspects of what's going on in the world, but these random acts of violence that are happening, people just randomly assaulting other people on the street, is absurd. It's truly absurd. And
karma's going to bite you in the ass.
It really is.
Now,
it really is. Might not be today or tomorrow.
Yep.
But it's going to.
My next thing I have to say is I read the book as a child.
Which book?
The Witches.
Okay. So now we're talking about the witches.
Yeah, sorry. I jump around. I'm kind of sporadic like that. Roald Dahl wrote a book called The Witches, and it was a movie in the mid to early 90s with Angelica Houston. They just remade it, and it's going to be coming out October 22nd. It's going to HBO Max. It's going to skip theaters and go right to HBO Max streaming, where Anne Hathaway is playing Angelica Houston's role. And you'll know Anne Hathaway from all kinds of stuff. Ella Enchanted, Devil Wears Prada, Love and Other Drugs. I can go on for on because she's my celebrity crush. But I think that this movie is going to do really well because it's an updated version. I mean, again, I'm the more content person. So if it's something new, I'm going to watch it. If it's a reboot, I'm going to watch it. If it's a reboot / redo, I'll watch it. We need more of that. And then the other thing is, like, I don't know, mind you, how do I put it? Sorry, I've been drinking. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to touch base with like upcoming stuff. Obviously, a lot of that's it. Updated today. Stranger Things season 4 has recently started filming after the COVID delay. I believe one of the cast members or somebody on the set had caught it, and they stopped it. But it has resumed, so we'll be getting season 4 of that, which I'm super excited for, and we'll cover that on another episode where we talk about all 4 seasons, at least 3 seasons until season 4 comes. Walking Dead has announced its final season next season, which is season 11. Season 10 is going to have like it's kind of weird how they're doing their season finale. They're like splitting it up in parts, but that's ending, which is, to me, they're beating a dead horse with that show. I loved the comic books, but they've strayed in so many different directions with that show. Anything you have to add for news-wise, or?
Not really. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming out soon.
Yeah.
For any gamers out there, it's a great game.
Oh, speaking of games, I'm a God of War fan. I love my God of War games. And they have announced the new God of War game. The unofficial title is God of War Ragnarok, which I'm wicked excited for because if you've played the most recent one, it's Norse mythology. The original ones were Greek mythology. And they touch base on a little other things, but it's mainly Greek mythology. And then the newest one was Norse, which is like Thor, Loki, all that stuff. And then the next one's going to continuation of that. So I'm looking forward to that game. Any comic books or anything you're interested in seeing?
My Hero Academia, for anybody that watches anime, got pushed off till next year. So
that
sucks for us, but
the end of next year.
Yeah, well, midway through. We have to wait till June, right? Or July?
June or July, something like that. Don't quote us.
So,
there's
thanks.
And if you are new to anime, I strongly suggest that show.
Yeah.
Like I personally am not a huge anime person, but I couldn't stop watching that show.
People will call it a shonen jump, which I'm not gonna lie, it is. But the creators of the show took a lot of creative inspiration from a lot of the greatest animes out there and combined them into a wonderful show. It's even great for kids. I mean, I don't know what age group
my kids love it,
but I could see even 8-year-olds easily watching it and still understanding and still getting.
Well, Landon's 8.
That's what I'm saying.
So he loves it. Yes,
but I don't know about younger than that because they're not really.
They're not going to understand it
because there is a lot of depth to it. Adults, parents with kids. Highly recommend it. I keep looking over here. You guys can't see it, obviously, but I have a whole figurine.
I'd move the camera, but you don't want to see what all the other stuff.
There's too much stuff here. I don't think the camera can actually.
But yeah, I strongly suggest that as an introductory.
Yeah.
Or my original introduction to anime when I was a child was Dragon Ball. Very racy show. If you watch
early ones.
Yeah, if you watch just straight Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Dragon Ball. That show is very different. Very different.
That show came up in a different time.
Yeah. Again, going back to the PC shit, all these people saying that, oh, you can't show that or you can show that. We are like one of the only countries that censors nudity. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Tom McDonald said it best. For a generation raised on South Park, how are we all so offended?
It's a valid point.
Doesn't make sense.
He's that guy with all the tattoos on the face, right?
He's got a few, but he's not.
And he's got the blonde cornrows.
Yeah. Pink.
Whatever the hell. He looks special.
He's a great rapper. Anyway, we're going to try and wrap this up here because we don't want to waste too much time. But next episode is going to be a lot more formatted, not in a boring way. We really had to jump into this tonight because we needed to get something.
We needed to get the edge off.
Right.
Because we were
overthinking this. We were overthinking this.
Somebody was nervous, so we kind of like jumped into it. But
you can't plan perfection. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. So we had to jump in, just start it.
We had to get content on here because we haven't done an actual episode besides our disclaimer. So. Check it out. I say nothing, which is funny because I'm always talking.
It's true.
But clearly, but.
Thank you for hanging in with us tonight.
And there'll be videos where if one of us isn't available to be able to do this, there might be like I'm gonna try and start doing movie reviews, like at least try and do one a week, so at least you're getting more content. But I'm gonna focus more on the movie side because I'm a huge movie person. You name it, I've seen it probably. And I have this weird memory for remembering people's names.
So we'll be hopefully bringing you guys a lot more content in the future.
From here on out, we're going to try and do this at least once a week. We're going to try and put ourselves out there on one form of the social media so we can keep our fans informed. I don't know if we're going to do Facebook. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to rule anything out at this point, but there's some that I don't think it would serve us well to be on it. But like, we want to get ourselves out there because just posting on YouTube, no one's going to hear us.
Either way. Thank you guys so much.
But thank you very much for coming in and viewing us during this time of hell. You got anything going on?
No. My name is Michael Flaherty. We didn't do introductions.
I'm John Bonner.
This is our show, Wicked Chaos, where we are really going to talk about
everything. Whatever we decide to talk about. So, as you can see, I jump around a lot.
Whatever the title of the episode is going to be will be our main kind of focus, where we'll hit on it for like the first 20 minutes or so of the episode. But then as we did this time, we're going to kind of branch off to maybe touch on a couple things. Like I said, we're going to be a little more formatted. We really need to just dive in today. So thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for being here with us.
And I don't want to put a time frame on it, but we're going to generate between an hour and a half hour.
Yeah, depending.
So we'll see. But love you guys.
Thanks so much.
If you have any questions, send us a message somehow until we get on social media.
Any content,
if you know us,
comments.
hit us up on social media. We're going to find a way to make it so you can contact us. Also, if you have any questions for us, hit us up on the live chat while we're doing the episode.
Trying to answer any questions.
Yeah, we'll do what we can.
People, so.
If once there's more people, more content, it's going to be harder to do. And we'll try and touch base on people. And the more we get, we'll see where we go from there. But I would like to incorporate fans with these two.
That's future us problem.
Yeah. But
it's not today us problems.
Yeah, like you said, we just had to jump in.
Thank you, guys.
You're sink or swim. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful night.
I'm pretty sure it ended. Probably not.
No.
Hi. There it goes.